Hello, and welcome to another episode of Extinct Bricks Originals. And for this very special episode, we'll be featuring the Lego Custom tutorial on the Hyperendocrine Carnotaurus. Alright, so for today's video, I'm just kidding, guys. So, we're making a Hyperendocrine Carnotaurus from the aisle. It is actually a creature that is not playable for the usual audiences, or it's only available for the developers. So it's such an exclusive creature that I also want to have one in my collection. So we'll be using this particular base figure. It's actually not one of my proudest creations. The head is just so messed up. Here it is, if you could remember, guys. So I wanted to still use the body of this one. I also lost a tail, so it's high time for this one to be redone and into something that I would be more into at the moment. So here it is, guys, as part of my series of Isle creatures. This is the Hyperendocrine Carnotaurus. So yeah, so I am short of head for Carnotaurus. So what I did is I used this Indoraptor head, which will be placed here. It's a perfect fit, I guess. And we're going to use Triceratops horns here for the horns of the Hyperendocrine Carnotaurus, of course. And then we're going to bulk up the body. For the tail, since I don't have any more tails at the moment, so we'll be using this big Triceratops horns, and then stick it with something else like so. So it's if you're wondering where this is from, it's actually from this. So connecting them all together. I'm not going to use the articulation here, but instead we're going to just cut it off and place it here like so. Yeah. Alright, so what I did now is I attached the horns. As you can see here, I also made some changes to the overall shape, and then mapped out the thickness of the creature. Now there's going to be a lot more, I guess, that we needed to do on this one, but we're getting there, as you can see. So as you can see, I've made some modifications to the body, the head, the tail of the Carnotaurus, and there seems to be a lot of grooves and bumps all over the entire length of the creature. So might as well do that instead of having it really heavy on clay. I made use of aluminum foil to bulk up where the specific grooves would be located. All we have to do now is do the same on the other side. So I took out the arms and made some modifications, because when I closely examined the Hyperendocrine Carnotaurus, it actually had much bulkier arms and also a peculiar set of claws to it, two of which are quite large, even larger than that of most large theropods, such as probably baryonyx, and even Spinosaurus probably. So I made these for both of them like so, and then we're going to sculpt over it. Alright, here I installed the teeth on the Hyperendocrine Carnotaurus. We're waiting for it to dry, and then we're going to now put on the final sculpting details on the figure. So we finalized on the sculpt on our Hyperendocrine Carnotaurus, and as you can see here, it still has a few rough areas, and all we have to do now is let all of the sculpting materials or the epoxy cure up, and then we're going to do some wet sanding on this. Alright, so here is our hyperendocrine Carnotaurus, and we have it already primered. And what we're going to do now is just slap in some color on this figure. So what we'll be using would be different sizes of brushes over here. We also have here a permanent marker for detailing. We also have some water, of course, some acrylics over there. No particular brand in that I would recommend. It really depends on the application of the colors. We also have here a handy dandy hair dryer just to hasten up the process. Right, so let's start painting. And here are the winners of the Guess This PC contest. We have Lucky Picks. Here they are: Gilbert Kokoy, Darat, Tyrannosaurus 1993, Kennerzilla, the Ultimasaurus. And now for
Top 10.
winners: Aiden Stevenson,
Top 9.
Rex in the House,
Top 8.
Michael Even RLT Spanax,
Top 7.
Rod the Game God,
Top 6.
Cretaceous Bricks,
Top 5. Top 4.
Swollen Head of Dragon,
Top 3.
Margot,
Top 2.
Nightbat,
And Top 1.
Colton Todd. Congratulations, everyone! And for those of you who'd like to join, just click on the Extinct Bricks icon and we'll lead you to the Extinct Bricks homepage. And the homepage, just click on the community link to see all our posts. Okay, so the first primary color that we would be applying on the figure would be this mixture of white, unbleached titanium, and yellow ochre. And we're going to do it in thin layers at a time so that we would avoid brush streaks and so on. And we're going to do this on the lower sections, including that of the lower jaw, the lower neck, the entire belly, and lower portions of the body, as well as that of the tail. So my technique is that once I applied one layer, I let it dry using a hand dryer, and then we go on with the second layer until we attain a specific opacity on the figure. Now for the secondary colors, we're going to apply here a soft light yellow ochre on the figure, and this time we're going to extend this particular color from the from the borders of the lighter colors here to make it a soft gradient, and then extending it towards the back. And the reason why I'm doing this is that so when we apply the reddish colors on the back of the picture, it would have also that same effect wherein there's some gradient also coming from the yellows going towards the more warmer red colors that we will be applying later on. So again, similar to what I did from the primary color, we're going to do this in several layers until we achieve a specific opacity for the whole figure, and also to avoid certain brush strokes as well, so it makes the figure seem flawless when you paint it. It's just similar to how an airbrush would appear when you use it on your figure. I'm also thinking of probably purchasing an airbrush in the future, but for now, since this is actually working and I really like how I do my process for the paint on my figures, then for now we're doing all hand painted figures for Extinct Bricks. Now another primary color that we would be applying would be this mixture of pink, some vermilion. We also have here some what do you call this, raw umber, mixing them all together, and then we have this color, and we're going to paint this on the entire back of the creature and also some areas of the face and the tail. Now we're going to change brushes from this thick brush to a much lighter brush or much finer brush, and we're going to streak some lines going from this to here, and oopsie, and that would make some patterns, additional patterns on the picture. At this point of the painting process, we're picking up our much smaller brush or a finer tip brush, not that fine, and we're going to paint on scattered I would say details of the same color that we have here on the top on the entire body. So we have some areas of the face that we fixed, some stripes on the neck area, and now we're doing the body section of our Hyperendocrin Carnotaurus. So it's more of a freehand when you do this, so you can create certain map details, or this is also where you wanted your brush to run through several cracks and the sculpt details, so you can hide them up, so things like that. It doesn't have to be really perfect, but later on the magic begins when the much darker colors would be integrated into the actual figure. So just go through this and do not be afraid to create several artistic I would say decisions to put into the figure. Just bear in mind that there are certain areas where this pinkish red or peach like coloration would not be found, so just bear that in mind. And this is where the hard but fun part begins. So we have here a mixture of black, some browns, and we're painting on the details on the figure. Now here we don't want to go overboard and just paint everything black. The reason why we actually had the earlier colors of the reds here would be that so we can have a space between the black colors as well as that of the lighter colors. And here I'm just painting on the tips here, and then later on we'll be filling in some of the details, such as probably I'm going to do an example here, so probably leaving a little bit of space for the red, and then you'll see that this would look like it has a space for, or it is actually a plate or an armor incorporated into the figure. So that's the actual effect, and it is also the design aesthetic of the endocrine or hyperendocrine Carnotaurus in the eye. Now there are some parts of the figure wherein you will have to paint in the entire area, such as that of the arms or the hands, like so. But when you come to the point where you have to meet it with the red ones, you'll also have to consider the overall design. So having your references beside you or within your reach, or your just beside where you are actually painting, that would be of great help, so that you won't have to make certain repeats or go over the same colors again. Alright, so here's the completed detailing on the Hyperendocrine Carnotaurus. This is just one side. We'll have to, you know, put in some highlights again on some of the areas, as well as some lighter browns on the figure. And yeah, here's the other side. It's thick, technically bare. So we'll just have to somehow mirror this side on the other, and then I'll get back. Now that we have completed painting on the details on the body, we will now add in details on the foot of the Carnotaurus. So this would be similar to how I actually do my detailing of foot on other theropods that I did before. Like so. Then afterwards, we're going to put in details as well, and on the mouth, painting the teeth, also putting in the eyes on our figure. Here we're just painting the claws on our figure. The second claw actually has the largest claw on the Hyperendocrine Carnotaurus, so we have to make sure that the entire thing is actually painted black. We're going to put a gloss in this one later on, so that it would actually pop out when it's completed. We will do so on the other hand. Likewise on the legs or on the feet. And finally, for the last of the details, we're going to paint the teeth on our Carnotaurus. So as you can see here, I also painted the insides of the mouth, the gums. So all we have to do now is paint on the teeth, and I'm using here a fine tip brush for you guys. So this helps me, easily place on the colors on the teeth without placing the colors outside on the face or on the cheeks, things like that. And that's it for the tutorial video on the Hyperendocrine Carnotaurus from the aisle, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you happen to like this particular video, please do share it with your friends, give it a like, and probably consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't really done that. Also, please do not forget to support our other channels, Ibito Universe, The Adventures of Moira and Usher, and Tito Mike's Kitchen. Please watch their videos and support our channel by subscribing. And as we always would say, guys, let your inner dino brick roar! Thanks everyone, and bye for now. See you on part 2.